Hi again guys, and welcome to another tune, of course, for Forza Horizon 4, a speed tune in particular, and this one is a fantastic all-round car to go for, the Radical RXC. Now this is significantly quicker than it was in Forza Horizon 3. It was pretty good on there, but top speed not so much, whereas now it more than makes up for that. Now one thing that I will say, when you tune up this car, you need to decide what category you want it to end up in. Because it's one of those cars where if you want it in Group X, then that's not a problem. Just upgrade everything, put that 1200 horsepower V10 engine in, etc. It's all pretty obvious. Race tyres, all that kind of good stuff. However, if you want it to be in S2, well, that completely changes everything. Because you cannot do any of the same stuff, really. Now you're running like 216 miles per hour in S2 because the power has to be so different. So you could do that if you want to. If you do want an S2 tune, I have done that as well. So you can actually get both my X tune and my S2 tune from my storefront. Just use the keywords down below or my gamer tag to do that. But as you can see, even without drag tyres, it's overwhelmingly quick. 1.6 to 60. 3 seconds to 100, 267 miles per hour. That's a lot quicker than it was, almost 30 miles per hour quicker in fact. Now as far as the gearbox, I'd recommend a final drive of 3.2, then individual gears of 2.9, 2, 1.53, 1.21, 0.98 and 0.77. As far as alignment, no surprises there. Neutral camber, neutral toe. You could take the caster degree down a little bit if you wanted to make it a little bit more manoeuvrable and a little bit less stiff. But the great thing about this car, in a similar way to the Ascari from yesterday, is that the faster you go and the harder you push the car, the better it becomes. And this is actually one of the best cars in the game for stuff like speed zones, for instance, because it's really good at keeping up high speed through corners. So it's up there with stuff like the Donkavort, the Ascari, those kind of track-biased machines. As far as anti-roll, we've got those on 35 and 30, springs on 90, 145, and I've got the lowest ride height front and back. Dampers on 10, 15, 5 and 7. Aero, of course, you want as low as possible for top speed. You could put it up if you want better handling, of course, but you will lose some top-end speed. And as far as the diff, again, pretty standard stuff. 100% on acceleration, 0 on decel, and again, just like the Ascari, an 80% rear bias. Now, you might find it to be maybe a little bit too slippery for some people at lower speeds with that kind of setup. 80% of the power going through the back end is, what, over 1,000 horsepower in other words. So, of course, it's a lightweight car, it's going to be a bit of a handful potentially, so you could take it down to 70 to make it a little bit easier, but you might lose some high-speed manoeuvrability. So again, it depends what you want. You could always try it on 60 or 70% to get used to the car, and then once you're more comfortable with it and become a better driver, you could then perhaps put it up to 75 or 80 to really maximise the setup. But as I said, you can get either of them from my storefront, so all that remains, of course, is to take the car out on the street to prove that benchmark. Now, for some strange reason, my game occasionally kind of glitches out, and I don't know if it's because the game can't keep up with the scenery loading, but for whatever reason the car will suddenly come to a screeching halt, as you'll see in this portion of the gameplay. So that can be annoying sometimes, so I rewound it a bit so you can see the performance, but I would say that due to the increase in performance that this car has had compared to its appearance in Horizon 3, it's actually become one of the best cars in the game, I would say. It's got outstanding handling, especially at high speed. There's no heaviness there at all. Great acceleration, especially with drag tyres, and the top speed is way stronger than it was. So for the price, with the all-round package, it's a strong car. It's up there with cars like the Noble, the Ascari, the Ultima, the Speed 12, easily. It's a fantastic machine, so if you do decide to use this tune, or of course for a much easier way to get it from my storefront, then I hope either way you have a ton of fun with it, and click here on screen to see all of my other tunes as well. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.